All right, let's jump into it. Welcome to Nomads Nation Podcast, episode 6. And today we're doing a different kind of episode. It's
I'm
Bo.
so excited.
I know, I'm excited too. We got Bo, we got myself, and this is a segment that we're calling Hot Takes. And in essence, the goal of this convo is that Bo and I are going to give each other hot takes, and we might defend the hot takes. We're going to talk about the hot takes. We're doing this for our first time, and if you got any comments or suggestions for how we can improve the format, let us know below. But in the meantime, Bo and I, we're going to chat hot takes. Before we get into the hot takes, Bo, how you doing today? Are you ready for some hot takes?
I'm pretty good. I'm honestly really excited, and I kind of feel like playing Dungeons and Dragons because we have to get into character, right? And I'm excited for the hot takes, and I'm excited to see how the people will react to our hot takes.
Yeah,
it's going to be fun.
We're asking the hot takes, and then we're also defending the hot takes. It's a whole smorgasbord of hotness and takes, and I have no idea what to expect. But I'm stoked, and I think the best way that we can do it is just kind of jump into it. And Bo, as the guest, they say on podcasts, guests first. Yeah. So I'm gonna start with giving you a hot take.
All right.
And we're gonna see.
Hit me.
We're gonna see where this goes. I'm gonna hit you, okay? Bo, the hot take is this: I only buy backpacks that are made in America.
Oh wow. Okay. For those of you who don't know, I have been living in Oklahoma for a whole high school year. So
Wait, did you really? I thought you were joking.
Yeah, I did. No, I did. I did. Right, I did a high school year.
We need a 20-second backstory of how you ended up in Oklahoma. And I need to know, did you wear a cowboy hat while you were there?
No. Maybe I wanted to, but in that time I was kind of in my hip hop phase, so I had this bucket hat. So that was and everyone in Oklahoma didn't understand it, and they were like, "What? Are you going fishing?" And I was, "No, I'm not."
Yeah,
I'm trying to be LL Cool J.
If you're trying to really dive into hip hop culture, Oklahoma, that's the spot to be. Said no one ever. So wait, how'd you end up in Oklahoma?
I did this high school exchange program. So I went to, it was actually a very scary story because that company who made all of those exchange students a reality just said oh, we don't have a family for you yet. So just go on the plane and then someone will pick you up. And my parents were like, really? And then I just flew, and then I arrived in Oklahoma. I went to the first guy who picks up all of the exchange students, and I stayed there for a couple of days, and then finally he found a family for me. And the funny thing is, all of the guys in my school who went for exchange students got to Oklahoma, and all of the girls, LA, New York, Florida. It was
all the chic locations, and you were in freaking Omaha. No, what's in Oklahoma?
The Panhandle
Oklahoma
State.
City. Yeah.
The Sooner State.
What city in Oklahoma were you in?
A very small city called O'Keene. Wow. 300 inhabitants, and I think the next biggest city was Tulsa, I believe. Yeah. Wasn't great.
Well, hey. No offense to anybody from Oklahoma listening to this podcast, the great state of Oklahoma. Well, all right. So I would imagine, though, Bo, not a lot of backpack factories in Oklahoma, but let's just say, the hot take is I only buy backpacks from the United States, possibly from Oklahoma. What do you think about that hot take?
I think it is an understandable hot take, because I feel that that USA and being proud about USA is very valid and understandable, because you are basically the only country that has everything. You don't need to travel, basically. If you want to go skiing, you have snow. If you want to go to the beach, you have the beach. So it is very understandable that as an American, you would be very proud about USA, and therefore you also want to kind of represent your country by only buying stuff from your country, and you support your local community. I think that is totally understandable and very valid. And I think if that would be possible, I think many people would only buy in America. And it is, as I said, from that perspective alone, understandable. That being said, I think it also increases pricing, and many people just, let's admit it, everyone wants the best quality, but not everyone is willing to pay the price. And competition in the world, fortunately, is very high. So in an ideal world, I also would only buy, if I could, buy stuff made in Germany, but it is expensive. I prefer I prefer my LG washing machine compared to the Bosch. No, it wasn't Bosch. It was a Miele. No, not Miele. It was a German brand. It was a German washing machine that supposedly was supposed to hold for 20 years. It did not. It broke after 5 years. Once the warranty was over, and it was too cheap to buy the extended warranty. So yeah, therefore I bought the LG one, and I'm really happy with that. So yeah, that was
I think you touched up on all the points there. I'm also curious, like, pardon my America centrism. I live in Hong Kong. I'm pretty well traveled, but I'm also like, is there like a movement in Germany where it's like, yo, we should only buy made in Germany stuff? I know that always exists at a local level, but I wonder if America is one of the few countries where it also exists on a country level.
I don't think it is in terms of, let's say, local patriotism, but it's more in Germany. It's more about environment and sustainability, because many people in Germany are now realizing, okay, if I buy from, or if I buy from a different country, but if I buy online, then there is a lot of shipping involved and stuff like that, which then again down the road literally isn't that great for the environment, because there are so many shipping factors to be factored in. So many people in Germany are moving towards this thinking of, okay, buy local, support local, and it's not necessarily about made in Germany. If they could, they probably would. But as I said, people always talk about, I want the best quality, and then they see the pricing, and then they say, nope, not gonna buy that German washing machine. That is twice the price.
On that note, let's throw some love out there to the German backpack brands. I can think of a few, and I'm curious if I'm missing any. We got Gottbag, they're German, right? Wait, no, are they
not
German?
Sure. No, Gottbag aren't they Scottish?
Are they Scottish? Tracky's Scottish. I know.
Yeah, but I think God is UK or Scottish.
Modern Dayfarer, German.
Yes. It's a German dude.
Any other stuff?
Heimplanet.
Okay, Heimplanet. Yep.
Ping Pong.
Okay, all right. Keep listening.
Berlin. That's
We've reached the end of the list.
Yeah, we definitely reached the end of the list. I don't know any more.
Strongest. Well, if anybody can think of any German brands that we're missing, no shade on you guys. We gotta improve our international backpack knowledge. But I think more or less, I think that you did a pretty good job defending that take, Bo. It is a hot take. I get that comment not super often on the channel, but often enough as to where it's a thing. It's a hotter take. Yeah. Some people will want to support their local, community, or they're patriotic for their country, or like you said, eco-friendly reasons is definitely a contributing factor, right? Shit's not shipping all back and forth across the world. It cuts down on energy, it cuts down on gas. So I think if that's important too, it makes sense. But I think that we can definitely both agree too, from a quality perspective, it's not as valid of an argument. Do you think that I'm out of line by saying that?
Do you mean that it's not that valid anymore, that made in America is always superior? Or
that's my hot take on the hot take. Yes. I think, double hot taked.
I think the going back to my example of the washing machine, I think that argument was valid 10 years ago, maybe also 5 years ago, but I feel that due to the economy and due to everyone needing to be competitive with other countries, for instance, where production is much cheaper, I feel that some brands, even if they would be made in America, to stay competitive, they can't take the time to produce high quality. They need to kind of do, and if you do, even if you use great materials, if you do something fast, if you produce it fast, mistakes will be made. We're all humans. So
100%.
As I said, in 10 years ago, that argument probably would have been very valid. As I said, with the example of my German washing machine, I think a Miele, a German-made washing machine from 20 years ago is probably much more durable than the same brand washing machine made 2 years ago.
Could be.
So it's, yeah.
But
It's
also full
unfortunate,
disclosure,
yeah.
I'm not a washing machine expert. So.
Yeah, hold on. I need to quit. I need to leave the conversation now. This is not the Nomads Washing Machine podcast. Oh man,
It could be though. I'm just saying, if this doesn't work out, we always got a way to pivot. I wonder if there's somebody who reviews just washing machines. There's all these little niches in the world. Like people are like blown away that I just do a review channel for backpacks, right? Like when I tell them who aren't in the carry community, but it's all these little niches out there, and it's kind of cool. And I wonder if there's like a home appliance niche. There's probably some like woman out there in Oklahoma named like Beth or something, and she's just fucking Betty, excuse me, and Betty from Oklahoma is just reviewing all the washing machines out there, and more power to you, Bet.
Aaron, imagine you're sitting in a room like in Indiana Jones, Part 1. It's this big hall, and in the back of you are not backpacks, but all washing machines.
All washing machines, dude. Just stacked
100 yards. Washing machines.
If there's a heaven, that's where I want to go when I die. That's for sure. All right, Bo. Let's move on from Made in America. Let's focus on some questions made by Bo. Oklahoma Bo, what you got? That's a good name. Oklahoma Bo.
Oklahoma Bo. Yeah,
Oklahoma.
So, and this is I want to say sorry already to the brand that I'm now mentioning, but you are a good example for this hot take. So, Bellroy is now on the radar of many YouTubers and regular people. Do you think Bellroy has just become mainstream and therefore boring?
It's a hot take.
Yeah, it's a very hot take.
I'm sweaty. I gotta turn my AC. Okay, so I'm gonna play the part of the person who's arguing this and why they would say that. And basically, it's probably something along the lines of the carry community is supposed to be this small community where we focus more on delivering ultimate value and not charging too high of a price for bags, or at least in a way that's that's fairly priced, right? And, brands like GoRuck and Evergoods, we think that there's a decent value to cost proposition, but with Bellroy, it doesn't always seem to be there, as to where, I don't mind spending, $100 on the Bellroy Venture Ready Sling 2.5 liter, but like, do I need to spend $170 on, some of their other products? Maybe, maybe not. So I think that's the angle that somebody who would take that hot take, that's where they're coming from. And I'll be honest, like, I think, I'm pretty honest in my reviews about where I think bags are in sort of like the value perspective. And I don't always think Bellroy does deliver the most value. Sometimes I think that Bellroy maybe just cranks up that the margins
It's
a little
getting
bit.
so hot in here.
Yeah. Oh my God. God help us. But no, I've consistently said this in my reviews. I don't think they're as bad as some other brands. I think that some other brands really crank up those margins, right? Because like I've got some insider information like from like making my own bag. And also I've talked to a lot of factories and I've seen some BOMs, some bills of materials for how much these bags actually cost to make. So I know, I have a pretty good understanding of how much a bag costs to make, with the materials that it's using. And, I have no problem saying if I think a bag is overpriced based on my perception of what the materials are and the build is and everything. And sometimes I think that way with Bellroy. Not terrible. I don't think that it's like a gross violation of, value, but I can see where somebody might come from that angle. Having said that, I think that more or less 70% of Bellroy products are very fairly priced for what you're getting, for the size of the company, for their eco-friendly initiatives, for the high-quality materials that you're getting. I would like to see the 3-year warranty jacked up to, longer. I think that, there could be a good argument to be made there that Bellroy's warranty is not quite in line with their price point at only 3 years when a lot of their competitors are doing lifetime. But yeah. That's sort of my hot take on the hot take.
It's so funny. And when you were talking, I think your positioning was very great, but I couldn't help to see a future for you in the Boulevard press, because you said something like inside scoop, hot take, and stuff like that. I see Nomads Nation Boulevard, the inside scoop.
I like that. You know, I guilty as charged on the high emotion words. I am a copywriter at heart. That's like sort of where all my everything comes from, is like my copywriting. And in copywriting, you're always trying to find like those high emotion words. So yeah, guilty as charged on that.
Love it.
What do you think though, Bo? What do you think on the Bellroy?
Very valid. Very valid. I think Bellroy, for me personally, is just like Air, a very easy recommendation to everyday people who are not that invested in the bag enthusiast world like we are, and therefore they could be perceived as boring, and as maybe boring is too much of a harsh word. Maybe if we would have phrased it or I would have phrased it differently and said like, isn't that interesting anymore? Then it would be a very understandable point, but it's not a hot take anymore, right? So I would say it's good for regular people, and it's a very good, solid choice of a well-made product line. But yeah, I see what you're saying in terms of pricing and in terms of the
Yeah, that's interesting, because you came from like a more like aesthetic and design perspective, and for some reason I immediately thought of value and money, you know. But both are really valid arguments when it comes to just sort of the conversation about these carry brands that are starting to really explode, the Airs, the Bellroys, right? As to where they're becoming more and more mainstream. I think that Bellroy probably focuses a little bit more on their design as opposed to Air. Like I think Bellroy tries to do new things and experiment with new materials more so than Air tries. I think, you know, I get a lot of comments like, you ever heard anyone call Air vanilla Air? Because it's been a common thing on my channel.
I heard that.
And they just kind of like, oh, where's the middle? Oh, we're going straight down that. Perfect. Whereas the Bellroy, I think that they're taking a few more risks here and there, and not to criticize Air for what they're doing. If it's not broken, don't fix it, right?
Yeah, sure.
So I think from a design perspective, though, Bellroy is definitely trying new materials, like their venture line, like that beta ripstop nylon. You know, you and I are big fans of that material, and that's like, you know, that's innovative in a lot of ways and bringing new things to the table. So I think from a hot take perspective, I could see where someone's coming from, but if you dig deeper into the catalog, I think there's still a lot there that can sort of impress.
Do you, just moving a little bit away from the initial question, do you think warranty is as important as people make it out to be? Because I feel we all want lifetime warranty, but I have suspicion. It's not based on facts, but I have a suspicion that not many people actually use warranty, because we, especially us in the enthusiast world where we always kind of look for the new bag, are we actually using the warranty instead of using it as an argument, okay, I need a new bag?
It's a really great question. I think when I said that Bellroy's warranty, I think it could be better, I'm talking more in line from like, you know, what the standard is, right, in the carry sort of scene right now. But yeah, I probably would never use a warranty. Like, I mean, I would if like if I bought a new tech thing and it was broken on me in like 3 months, right? Like, you know, done. Like if I got the thing, and even then I might not even use the warranty because I'm very lazy sometimes, right? So for me,
weird, right?
It is weird, right? We like these things because psychologically it provides sort of like a comfort and a blanket where we're like, oh, well, you know what? I'm backed. And I think that, you know, it's like insurance. You never need it until you need it. And I think that, yeah, I'm not one to really ever put a claim on a warranty. I can't really think of a situation where I actually have, but there is something nice to be said about having it and just knowing that it's there. And I think that it shows a sign of confidence in your products as well, right? And it will make somebody more likely to purchase the product. I think psychologically there's something there as to where, listen, I'm probably not going to take that warranty, but just knowing that you have the confidence in your product to offer it gives me, therefore, point. More confidence in making that purchase. I think that's where it comes from. So
very good point.
Yeah, are you in a similar boat? Like, have you ever like found the receipt in the box and been like, I'm here to claim my warranty?
Honestly, you just convinced me in terms of why that is it's a very good but subconscious pro of a product. But I feel that warranty, for me personally, is only important for tech items, not for soft goods, because I feel that if a soft good is breaking, usually you can still use it as long as it's not a zipper. And usually I'm maybe 9 out of 10 times too lazy to actually claim the warranty.
Me too.
And
guilty as charged.
That's why I think I never thought of it the way you just argued, that it is a subconscious acknowledgement of, okay, this is a very good product because they're confident to give you a lifetime warranty. I never seen it that way, but it is a very, very valid point why this good thing if a brand actually gives you a lifetime warranty. Even if it's just 5 years, it's still a very good.
But what's interesting is, having said that, I know that Boundary Supply has changed their warranty recently. I think they offered lifetime, and now it's not quite lifetime anymore. They changed the wording of it. So maybe, maybe we're just a bunch of lazy fucks, and maybe there's a lot of people who are actually really holding companies accountable for their warranties. And because otherwise, why would Boundary Supply make that change, right? They must have been getting enough complaints and or warranty, people filling them out as to where they're like, this is not cost effective for us anymore.
So that's true.
Remember, we were just talking to Greg too. Shout out to Greg Lee from Suburban. We just had a podcast episode with him where he was saying that in Hong Kong, it was something that they were very, very. It was important to them, right? Was the warranty, knowing how they're covered on the hardware and stuff. So, it might be to each their own. Maybe just you and I were just a little bit more on the lazy side. I definitely am on that front.
What I would love to see, how easy it is, at least in Germany, not sure how it is in other countries, to, if you have a pant, for instance, and there's something broken on your jeans or whatever, or you want to shorten it. It's so easy to just go to a tailor and then just shorten the legs of your jeans and stuff like that. Get it $10 and it's done, maybe.
For sure.
Sometimes even just $5. I would love to see more specialized experts who would be able to fix my bag, because I would love to just go to a tailor, and I actually did it once, and he was like, not sure how to do that actually.
For a backpack?
Yeah, because I wanted to change a shoulder strap actually. I just wanted to actually, and it was bar tagged at the bottom, so he wasn't able to actually do it that easily. He said, okay, so I just need to do a square run and then exit. So I can do it, but I don't feel very comfortable. Plus my machine isn't as strong to do that.
Sure.
So I would wish more cities had experts that actually would be able to do stuff like that. At least in Hamburg, I don't know anyone who could do something with the bag.
Yeah, I
That would be
100%
cool.
agree. Like that'd be really cool, right? I mean, like you said, it's so easy for clothes. Like I recently got some pants from Western Rise, and they're great pants, and they just didn't fit me perfectly. They're a little too long,
Sure.
I got shorter legs, so I was like, God, I gotta return them. My wife's like, dude, just bring them to the tailor down the street. She'll make them perfect for you. I did. The Western Rise pants are perfect now. So
Yeah.
yeah, we need backpack specialists like that.
Yeah, that would be
every,
awesome.
One in every corner of every
Yeah.
city. I don't know, like Bellroy, make it happen, right? Like it should be like be cool if there was like a company like had like backpack like a repair center, right? Like
Yeah.
Bellroy repair centers. That'd be really awesome. Am I asking for too much? I think
I don't know. I don't know.
either.
Maybe we just need a person in every city. That would be cool.
That'd be cool. Bo, I'm not gonna lie. You look pretty comfortable right now and not too sweaty. I think you need a hot take to kind of spice things up. I don't like how
Okay.
comfortable you
Give
are
it to
right
me.
now. So
Give it to
I got
me.
a hot take. Bo, Carryology collabs are nothing more than FOMO-fueled scams that are ruining the carry community.
Okay. Interesting hot take.
You want to take your jacket off after that one?
I got a call. Sorry.
And that's the end of the podcast, everyone.
Okay, I will defend that statement and argument. from a perspective of a regular, not yet, bag enthusiast like you and I are. And I think going into character, yes, they are just cash grabs, because basically these collaborations are just the same bag with fancy schmancy fabrics. I don't need XPAC. Give me that Gorak. That Gorak backpack is already expensive enough. Why do I need it in XPAC? Or why do I need a metal morale patch if the rubber one doesn't scratch up? So why do I need the metal one for I don't know how much more? So from that perspective alone, where you think that is just the same bag with fancier-ish fabrics, that I would argue, I've heard a interesting take from our last episode with Avi, who said XPAC, he doesn't like XPAC. And sometimes I feel I'm the only one left that is actually liking XPAC. So I can understand.
No, you are not alone. Believe me. Oh, I respond to all the comments on my channel. The XPAC cult is alive and well. You are.
Oh, really? Okay.
Alive and well.
I thought that was a fad.
No, definitely not.
It is? It's still going?
Huge.
Okay.
Still
so,
huge.
But still, if I would be on the other side of the spectrum, I would say that fad is over. We don't need XPAC anymore. We don't need the collaboration that is just the same bag with fancier material.
Have you ever bought a Carryology collab or a limited edition bag?
Yes, I have three. I used to have three. The Gorak.
Paid out of pocket by your own money?
No.
Okay.
I got them for two of them for review. No, that's not true. The Gorak I bought. From Chaos. That was the one with XPAC, which I thought, because I actually wanted to have another Gorak bag, and I bought that one. And truth to be told, I was not impressed.
Which collab was this?
That was the one with the metal patch.
That was
I forgot the name. Yeah.
So it was a Carryology Gorak collab.
Yeah,
where you get
the one with the XPAC and the metal spaceman patch on
and
there.
that's basically the only difference is just a new material and the metal patch, and that was $600 US probably.
Yes, and that's why I was not impressed. But I was impressed. I was impressed by the other two that I got, which is why I said, I think in our previous episode, which is why I said I kind of would have wished that Carryology does not make too many iterations of these collaborations and turn it down and made more less, and therefore not as watered down, let's say it that way. I'm not sure how to express it better, but for instance, I got the Carryology Alchemy equipment collaboration. That bag was amazing.
Oh, yeah?
It had better, not only better fat. Am I mistaken? Was it also just only fabric? Not 100%. No, the pockets were a little bit different. But it had different inner lining. It had this jacquard fabric outside, orange inner lining, a see-through quick access pocket in the lid. And yeah, overall, one of my favorite bags, actually. And then I had the Tracky Carryology collaboration, which was this...
the Muir?
No, this way before.
We're taking it way back.
Yeah, we had this salt and pepper fabric outside. Dyneema inside. It was the store, an iteration of the store 35. Now they released the store 20, I believe, as well, a smaller version.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, that was a great bag. But going back to the hot take, just looking at the Gorak collaborations of the last 2 years, I do understand why people are disappointed. Maybe not disappointed, but maybe not overwhelmed, because for me it was too many Gorak GR collaborations where you kind of got confused about in terms of, okay, which one is is that the same or is it just different in terms of fabric?
For sure.
So yeah, I get when people say, oh, this is just a cash grab because it's just the same bag with different fabrics.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see where someone's coming from that perspective, because it could seem that way. And there's this, they still got to make their money, so they're cranking up the margins a little bit. But I also think, like, to defend the Carryology thing, first of all, if you're not into limited edition stuff, don't worry about it. Just like let the limited edition people do their thing and have fun, because it's exciting to them and they like to flip the bags. There's a whole economic thing. It's just kind of like a cool little ecosystem. But having said that, what are you munching on?
The foam of my coffee.
I thought you just snuck a yogurt under this.
No, you know what? Best trick when you make yourself a coffee, instead of using regular milk to foam it up, I have this foamy things with a stick. Use vanilla soy milk. It tastes like pudding. So you have like your coffee, and then you put pudding on top, basically.
A little pudding on top. It's so funny because I didn't want to interrupt the convo, but you took this bite and you look like you enjoyed it so much, and I was so overwhelmed with jealousy. Like, I was like, because I'm kind of hungry right now, and I was like, that's a bitch.
You drink the coffee.
Greek yogurt.
You drink coffee, and then the last thing in your cup is the foam.
Yeah,
and it's like heaven, vanilla heaven.
If I don't drink coffee, I don't handle caffeine very well. But if I switch back to drinking coffee, or maybe I'll make a decaf version.
No, you can. I see some British people using. No, I'm not sure if British people do it, but I did see some people using tea and putting milk in there, and instead of just milk, you could maybe foam it as well.
That's some next level shit right there. That's highly innovative. Props to my people in the UK doing their thing with the tea. But back to the Carryology thing. Like, we did talk about this in a previous episode about how it's like, it feels so uninspired in some ways, because it's like, all right, Carryology collab. Let's do it with the Evergood CPL, whatever it is, the CPL. All right, what are we gonna do? Let's just change the fabric. Cool. Yeah. Collaboration done. But it is that, but it also isn't, because it would be cool if, like, hey, let's add a new pocket, or take, this away, or add a water bottle holder, but, that does add additional layers of complication. But
yes,
I think people need to understand, like, even just testing a single fabric on a backpack, it's a time-consuming and expensive process. So I'm building my own backpack for Firo, right? And we didn't know what fabric that we wanted to do it with. And I really wanted to do a wax canvas. Like, it's in right now. It's cool. It's just like, and I thought it would have like a really nice heritage look to sort of offset like a techier sort of a vibe that we were going for. And I was really interested in like those two things blending together, right? Techie mixed with heritage. And I was like, let's just, I'm gonna get the wax canvas, but let's see it before I make a final decision. And so we had to look through the different wax canvases and find one that we liked, and then order it, which costs about $1,000 because you're going below the MOQ anyways, right? And then we get it in the wax canvas, and I'm like, no, absolutely not, And this is just one wax canvas. This particular one, it was a little too much of a hair magnet. It was way too padded with the PU backing, which I liked when I was holding the swatch. But when it was on the bag, I was like, that doesn't work. So there's actually a lot of R&D that goes into this material selection, right? And that takes time and that takes money, which means, in a year and a half, there's going to be a Carryology collab with, whoever, and they're working on those materials probably right now to find the ones that fit. So, and then you produce it in a small batch, which means that, these factories, they might charge, higher prices for that regardless. And they're not doing it like a Kickstarter, like as to where like they raise the money and then they get the bags. They're putting all these money up front, So so there's a lot of factors taken into consideration that, there's a big risk. And I'm not sure if all Carryology collabs have sold out. If anybody has any insider info on that, or Yubo, like, do you know have all these collabs sold out?
Don't know, not sure.
I don't know either. That'd be really interesting.
Yeah, but I just wanted to add on. I totally 100% agree with you, and I think the Carryology collaborations are great. They do a lot for the community, and I do think that despite the fact that I said it is cash grab, I think the pricing is totally justifiable, not only because of the materials being used, the R&D put into that, but also in terms of because it is such a low order quantity. So I do think the pricing is justified. That being said, if Carryology is listening to this and would want my personal recommendation or wish for the future is to kind of slow down or reduce the quantity of collaborations. And then, for instance, I think the Gorak collaborations are the best example for that. I would have loved, instead of, I think it were 3 different collaborations, if I'm not completely mistaken, 3 or 4. Instead of those 4, do just 1, but make that one amazing. I would have loved that. Or, I don't know, maybe not only change the fabric, but also I do understand that changing sizes, for instance, or adding features will add, as you said, Aaron, add complications to the production line. But imagine the collaboration wouldn't have been a GR1 with different fabrics, but also made it smaller. Imagine GR1 in size 15 liters or something, or even bigger, 40 liter. And
Hell
then
yeah,
it's a completely different thing. Maybe totally the same, but it's still different, right?
I agree. And so on their side, that definitely poses a larger risk for them, right?
Yes.
Because they're not sure about demand. But let's say like the Evergoods Carryology collab, instead of just doing new materials for all their bags, what if they did, all right, they got the CPL, it's a 24. I know on my channel, a lot of people are like, I wish the CPL was in a 20, and I wish I had water bottle holders. I get that all the time.
Yeah.
Like, what if the Evergoods Carryology collab was like a limited edition CPL 20 with water bottle holders in the new fabric, right? Like, that would be, I think, a lot more exciting of a Carryology limited edition collab, because it's actually a new product, right? That's very limited edition from that sense. I get that it's riskier for the brands, but I think that with the growth of the community, I think that they would still do very, very well. So I'm with you there. That'd be really cool to see a little bit more thought into these collabs and, rolling the dice a little bit, big risk, big reward.
Yeah. So now I see you are too comfortable. And I have actually 2 questions that could segue off there, but I can't decide which one do I take. Hot
once you're
or
ready,
even hotter?
Let's
Let's stick with Carryology.
Okay.
What do you think? It's not a hot take, but it is something where you could make a hot take. What do you think would be the most controversial Carryology collaboration that you can think of in the future?
Interesting question. So you're referring to the actual brand, or I'm just just going off the top of my head for anything?
I mean, if you can think of a controversial product, that could be interesting as well.
The brand, it's kind of an easy one, but I'd say Bellroy, just because they're owned by the same company. So if Carryology's already getting this, if Carryology's already getting this, what?
They already did.
I know they did one,
Chimera.
right? They did one, and I don't think it was met with a lot of excitement, because it's interesting how Carryology and Bellroy owned by the same peeps, right? But there's not a ton of overlap between them. There is, obviously, it's all Carry community, and like if you go on Carryology Classified, you'll see some Bellroy products on there. But you're not going to see a lot of Bellroy products on there. They're talking Gorak, they're talking Evergoods, they're talking Mystery Ranch, they're talking, there's a couple others that I'm missing. A few more tactical brands, a couple lesser known brands, but like the Carryology community is not like super stoked about Bellroy, which is really interesting. So for me, they're kind of separate entities in that sense, as to where Carryology is just like, this is the hardcore bag community, right? And then Bellroy is like, people in university and who want to go to work and, start get their first nice backpack. So I would think that if, like, let's say next year there's a Carryology Bellroy collab where it's like the Apex, which is already a $450 backpack that some people think is a little overpriced anyways, and they did like a $600 version, I could see that being met with resistance, let's call it.
But that was the Chimera, to be honest.
Yeah, so I actually don't know much about the Chimera. I know, I just know that it wasn't like I don't know if that one sold out. I have no idea. I'm not sure that the response was that great. Versus I was also less involved in that at that point in time. So if anybody has a bit more context, let us know in the comments. But I'd love to hear.
Can you think of a brand totally from somewhere else that you could think would hit the community with a lot of surprise, let's say that.
Okay, I think that there's a lot of people who like the fact that Carryology and stuff is very under the radar. So like if it was like like I almost want to go a few different directions with this. I think that if you think about the criticism of Carryology collabs, it's that it seems like a cash grab. And in other niches, there are cash grabs, right? Like sometimes like, there'll be limited edition stuff and it's like, okay, did that need to be $2,000? Like I get that we're building this up and there's hype, but like you just jacked up the prices. What did I say? You just jacked it up by like 100x, right? Because it's limited edition. So like if they worked with like a company like I don't know, like a luxury brand, that's a little outside, like LV Carryology collab. But like let's just say like they did like I don't know Supreme. It's not outside of the realm of possibility, right? Like that.
True.
I think
True.
that would just tip a lot of people over, like just rub people the wrong way as to where they're already getting negative comps to Supreme. And if there was ever like, the first Supreme nice backpack in part with Carryology limited edition, $2,000 I think that people gonna be pissed. But that's where I went with that. Let me take that spice and just flip it right over to you though. You got anything in mind? Because I'm curious.
I got something in mind, but I'm not sure if it would be that controversial I'm not sure. I'm torn because one of my favorite bags is, and the one that I have and use the longest is the North Face Basecamp duffel. And I would kind of wish to see a collaboration, but I'm not sure how the community would react to Carryology collaborating with such a corporate big company, I'm not sure how they would react.
I don't think it would go very well.
No, I don't think either, right? It would be very controversial.
I think the flippers would flip, because there's the people in the Carryology community who are just doing it for like, buying 6 of them and then, reselling them. So they'd buy. But the community in general, I don't think they'd be too amped up about that. There's something too corporate or too mainstream about North Face. Fjallraven, you might have a chance because there's a big eco-friendliness, factor there. But yeah, I think that if you look at the Carryology community, they kind of like the more independent brands,
Exactly, right?
The Evergoods, the Go Rucks, Mystery Ranch, things of that nature. Mystery Ranch, though, not really independent anymore, owned by Yeti. But yeah, I don't think that would go over too well. It would be a really big collab, if they were able to make that out, even if it was Supreme or North Face. And who knows, maybe Carryology will get to that point one day. But right now, I think what they're doing is working for them.
Yeah, I feel like if they would do that, people would perceive Carryology not as, how it is so important for most people actually to have this underground feeling, because you have the perception that, I was there when they were small and they haven't made it yet. And I listened to, I don't know, I have no idea, LL Cool J when he only made mixtape, that's why I'm a hardcore
I'm
fan.
That guy. I'm always that guy. I'm like, you're listening to The Weeknd? I was listening to his mixtapes back in 2012. You don't know shit. Yeah.
And I feel like once Carryology would have a collaboration with such a big brand like North Face, or imagine a Carryology Toomey or Samsonite collaboration. I feel that some people...
That'd be kind of cool.
That would be interesting, right? But I feel that some people would be not angry, but maybe would say, okay, now it's not cool anymore because my dad would buy it or something,
For sure, yeah. That's a sure sign of something getting less cool is once it gets on the dad's radar, right? Then it's time to jump ship. But I'm curious though, so I'm going to turn that hot take that you asked me about, and I'm going to I got one for me as well. And here's my hot take / question / whatever we're doing. Pack hackers should be doing some collabs. Why have they not dipped their toes into the collab
Interesting,
pool?
yeah.
They're I mean, they've done one collab, I think, which was a hoodie, but like that's just we're just scraping the surface, right? And maybe that didn't do too well. Maybe that's why they haven't. I'm not sure, but what's stopping? Because Carryology in essence is just a media company. They don't do any of the actual production stuff. That's left as far as I'm aware. I know Taylor actually helps with the designs and whatnot, but like at the end of the day, why isn't Pack Hacker with their, they got 250,000 subscribers. They're an enormous media company and presence in the community. Bo, my hot take is that Pack Hacker should do collabs like Carryology. How does that make you feel?
I'm torn. I'm a little bit torn in terms of, I'm not if I look at it from, okay, should I defend it or should I, because on one hand, from the perspective of a reviewer and a content creator, I can see why they wouldn't do it, because I think it is very difficult, and I have a lot of respect for you, Aaron, that you actually do your own backpack, but I can see that it is a very complicated and very difficult thing, and you surely do not want to spread yourself too thin, because as far as I can tell, Pack Hacker has so many different angles already in terms of the type of content that they make, and
for sure
their output of videos is quite high. So they are a media company, and I feel, I'm not sure if they would actually be able to tackle that without creating an extra department. It is possible, as we can see from your side, but I feel I could imagine that it is also very difficult. So that's definitely the one thing.
For sure. But let's say that, that aside, right? Logistics aside, are there any other reasons why Pack Hacker shouldn't do a collab? Like let's say Boundary Supply went to Pack Hacker and said, "Yo, let's do a Pack Hacker Boundary Supply collab." Like I think that'd be kind of cool. Like I'd love to see that.
It would be cool. It would definitely be cool. But I can see some people in the community not liking it, because, for instance, Chase Reeves. I would love to talk to Chase Reeves in the future, actually. I did see some backlash when he did a collaboration with Pact, that some people were thinking, okay, he's now only pushing the Pact back. I saw a few comments in that regard, and some sentiments from viewers that were like, okay, he's only pushing the Pact back. And I would fear that would happen if I personally would do a collaboration, especially the bigger you are, the more likely it is there will be some backlash and people taking it the wrong way. So I'm not sure if Pack Hacker should do a collab. I think it would be a different story if they do it the way you do. So making a bag from scratch and then taking everyone on the journey. I think that's a completely different story. But I feel if it's a collaboration where Pack Hacker would just kind of talk to the designers, put some feedback, and in essence, it's the same bag from the brand, but just... Yep. With Pack Hacker on there, I feel that the perception of the community could be negative, because they would maybe think, okay, it's just a cash grab for them.
For sure. But and on the opposite side of that, though, that's exactly what Carryology is doing, and we're cool with that, media brand.
True.
Partnering with a backpack brand.
True.
So, I get what you're saying, because it's almost like Carryology has like this special sort of like pass in some ways. It's like, well, hey, we're a media brand, and because they've been doing it for so long, right? But I think if it's good for Carryology, like all these, I just think it'd be really interesting for the community to have like maybe just not a Carryology stranglehold on the limited edition stuff. Like I think it'd be really cool if Pack Hacker and Wander did a bag together.
But there's a different, or at least for me, a different perspective on Pack Hacker versus Carryology. I feel Carryology was always more in line of being a brand which had multiple different reviewers, so it was easier to differentiate the reviewers from the brand itself.
Interesting.
But with Pack Hacker, obviously Pack Hacker now has a bunch of great reviewers. Yeah. But for me personally, since I've been watching Pack Hacker since the early days, for me Pack Hacker is Tom.
Of course.
So that's why I would perceive it always as top. Maybe that perception has changed. Obviously, all of the people who are now subscribed, not all of them know Tom from early on. Now they perceive Pack Hacker as you said, this media company with, I'm not sure how many reviewers we actually
They
see.
seem to circulate a few, but there's 3 or 4. They got the main girl who I'm sorry, her name's I can't think of her right now, but she's awesome. Like, she's really good at what she does. And they've got a couple new people in the lineup as well. So yeah, it's interesting to watch their evolution from, Tom/Pack Hacker to this larger media brand. But on that argument then, let's say that in a few years' time, Pack Hacker becomes more of a Carryology, right? Where they have 3 or 4 full-time reviewers, each with their own personality and perspectives that you've learned to sort of, understand. And then they did a collab. Would that make a bit more sense?
Yeah, I think that would be much different in terms of perception and image. I feel, as I said, I connect. For me, even in my phone book, I know Tom's last name, but in my phone book, it's Tom Packhacker. So it's not Tom and his last name; it's Tom Packhacker. So
For sure.
I think that's just a personal perspective, and I think Tom would make a great collaboration, but
Personally,
I'm not sure how
I'd love
would
to see
react
it.
to that.
If anyone from Pack Hackers listening to this, dude, take this idea and run with it. Because honestly, I hope to do this one day with Nomads Nation. Like, I want to have my own backpack company and then do a collab as well. I just think it's good for the industry. I don't think that, it all needs to be these super high prices necessarily. It'd be cool if these prices could be lowered and be a bit more accessible. But yeah, but on that note, that brings me to another hot take question I want to ask
I said I want to pitch something, elevator pitch. If any brand wants to make a cool sling bag, hit me up.
Dude, well, that was my next question. All right, well, damn it, you took my thunder, dude. Oh, man. All right, well, I guess we're done.
Sorry.
No. All right, well, my question was, all right, let's say, Matador reaches out to you, get an email, hey, Bo, we love your stuff. We want to make, a Bo Ismono pack with you. Not like, because there's different types of collabs. Like, what Chase Reeves did with Pact was a collab, but it doesn't have his name stamped on it. And then you have the Peter McKinnon Nomadic, where it's you got his name stamped on it. And then you've got the Carryology collabs, which is, a collaboration in that sense. So you have differing sort of ways, or you have me building my own backpack where it's hey, this is just mine, right? So let's say, I don't know, what's a brand that you love? You love GoRuck, right? Let's say GoRuck came to you, or any brand. You pick the brand. What brand are we using for this hypothetical scenario?
I want Black Amber.
Black Amber, awesome.
Yeah,
so
I would love Black Amber.
Awesome.
And I would do it the same. I would take inspiration from the way you do it, because I would love to be involved in the process, but take all of the viewers with me and show them how we would collab on that. And then one of the parts in my collaboration would be, just like with my reviews, I would tell them, I want to shit on this bag, because I want to be able to say what sucks about this bag, to be able to explain why we did it that way.
For sure.
And I feel that is much, for me personally, it's much better to take the wind out of the sail of people who potentially dislike it, to explain why we did it. Because no bag, no product, no item is perfect, especially when it comes down to a sling bag. There will be compromises, and I believe that we need to explain why we did something that way.
Yeah.
And why we understand it might be bad for specific people, but why we think this is great to do for this product and why we did it. And that's also great why I love Evergoods, for instance. I love their videos where they explain why they do stuff. And I would do it a similar way, but take a little bit of a different angle and tell, okay, this is obviously, I don't know, this is a weird pocket. You would think that is too big, and therefore it's weird, but we did it because I'm a stupid person who uses a folding phone. Therefore, I need a bigger pocket. So, so I would argue that way.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, lots to unpack there. First of all, Black Ember, if you're listening, get a hold of Bo right now, because he's ready to do a collab on the fly. Okay.
They know that I don't like the TKS They're probably never going
right?
to
So you can
contact
make a
me.
new sling. We'll call it the Boklahoma sling. So I think that'd be so cool if you ended up doing something like that. And I just think like things like this would help elevate the community in a lot of ways. And it's not just like, hey, this like Carryology thing. I think that PACT kind of kicked the door down with that, where like we have now more opportunities. We saw what they did with Chase Reeves, and then Nomadic with Peter McKinnon, and then what I'm trying to do with Firo. We got a lot of different bag things that are happening, and I just think the more the merrier. And I love your perspective on building it sort of in public, bringing people through the experience. I'm hoping that what I'm doing can, I don't want to say inspire because it sounds like so pretentious, but like, at least, get some people to do the same thing, right? Because like, I think it's cool. Like it just gets more people more interested in bags, which is good for
I think you have a great
all of us.
approach. I think
Thanks,
the
dude.
way you do it is very inspiring, at least for me. And I think it should inspire more brands to take people on the journey of making a bag, because there's so much involved in bags that people just do not know, just do not understand why something is getting more complicated and therefore more expensive, and you taking people on the journey, and your personal learning process is great to understand why something is made that way. And I think it is very easy for people to shit on stuff and criticize stuff, and it is totally valid to have your opinion and to say, I don't like this because so and so. But I think it's also important to understand why something is designed that way. So yeah, I think it's good that you do it that way.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. We're on the same page with that, and I hope to, hope this can, not just me, but all these things that are happening in the community. It's getting more interesting. It's not just like different backpacks being made. We got collaborations.
Yeah.
We got these guys working with those guys. So I'm just hoping it all continues into this trajectory, because it just elevates the niche as a whole, and we all benefit
Of course.
from it.
Yeah.
All right, so we're at about an hour, Bo. I think we got one more question left. I'm gonna save the best for last. I'm gonna leave it for you. What's the final hot take question of episode 6?
The question that I have for you, or the hot take, is waxed canvas just some snobby fabric that has no real value and is just for people who want to look like Indiana Jones or manly or pretentious?
Yes. And I love it. So the hot take is kind of yes, and on that note, and that's why I like it so much. I think the wax canvas sort of comeback has been awesome to see, because it's a vibe, it's a look, and as to where we're talking about XPAC on one side. I don't think anybody really likes the look of XPAC. Like, it just looks like laminated plastic with lines in it. Like, it's not really that aesthetically appealing, let's be honest. Sorry, XPAC lovers out there. But wax canvas, the complete opposite, right? It's just gorgeous. The patina and the texture and the look and that heritage vibe, But it's not as practical as like an XPAC, right? Which, water just freaking glides right off the XPAC versus the wax canvas. It ain't going to have that necessarily in the same way, and you might have to re-wax it, and it might get a little bit moldy, and it might not stand the test of time. But hey, I'm all about the free market. If someone loves the look of a wax canvas, so be it. I mean, I just got like a new pair of Nikes, and like they're made with like a leather on them. They weren't too expensive. Actually, my wife got them for me, but she's like, they're not going to last as long because the leather gets a little bit dirtier faster. I don't give a shit. I love the shoes, So I think. Yes, wax canvas is pretty pretentious, and I'm a little pretentious, and I like that wax canvas. Like I said, I was really hoping to be able to do it for the Firo bag, but we just couldn't find one in time. It would have taken like more iterations to test more fabrics. We ended up going with a polycarbonate Kodra 330D nylon, similar to what you see on like a Peak Design bag.
Yeah.
So I'm all about wax canvas, but it doesn't come without its complications. Like, as I've been trying to choose these bags, the fabric for the Firo bag, like, I'm getting a lot of feedback from people because I'm telling them I don't know what to do and stuff, and I'm getting a lot of horror stories from wax canvas, specifically from people that are in hotter climates. Like, if you're in a Singapore or a Brazil or a Hong Kong where it's hot and humid, like, wax canvas doesn't do as well in those environments, apparently, whether it's mold, whether it's forming some sort of an unpleasant scent.
So mold in terms of black spots Where
Yes,
mold?
I believe so.
Okay.
I haven't had this happen myself. I'm not a fabric expert. I'm just telling you the comments that I'm getting in, and also the conversations that I'm having with the factory as well. And let's just be honest. Like compared to an XPAC material, it's not going to be anywhere near as water resistant. So pros and cons with it, but dude, I love the the wax canvas revolution. It's here. I think it's here to stay. I love what's happening on a lot of these bags, whether it's Filson, whether it's Evergoods, whether it's even the classic Fjallraven bags. Wax canvas looks bloody awesome. But Bo, like, do you agree? Are you on the wax canvas train the same way that I am, or are you a little more on the fence?
I like wax canvas, but the let's call it in air quotes flaws, or no, the trade-offs. The trade-offs of the wax canvas are overweigh the positives. I like the look, I like the feel of it, I like the ability to re-wax it and therefore kind of making it new again. Yeah. But there are too many trade-offs, like the weight, like it not being 100% waterproof at some point. Once the wax is kind of worn off, it won't be that waterproof again, or water resistant. And more importantly, the smell in the summer. If you walk in it in the sun for a longer period of time, there might be some smell to it, which I do not like. And I like XPAC a lot because it is able to have different colors. I like the Stormtrooper white, for instance, a lot. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's why I think I understand why people like wax canvas. I like it as well, but I personally would not. If I had to choose between wax canvas and between two bags that are looking similar, and one is wax canvas and one is XPAC white, I probably would go with the XPAC version.
And there's nothing wrong with that. And I go with XPAC, and that's the beauty of the world. Everybody, I go with wax canvas. I go with wax canvas, excuse me. But that's the beauty of the world. We all have our own preferences. But I think that's interesting too, and especially with those two fabrics, that's really pretty far on the spectrum, right? Between one and another. One's highly technical, modern, new, water resistant, functional as fuck. The other one is old school heritage. It's a beautiful vibe. It's just like these things are really on opposite ends of the scale. And I love the choice because it allows the bag community to, the more choices, the better. I think
combine it. Combine it. Inner lining made out of high vis XPAC, and outside it's wax canvas.
Black Ember, I hope you're listening. These are Bo's blueprints for the sling. It's a wax canvas XPAC sling called the Boklahoma to replace the TKS. It's basically ready to go. They just got to contact you.
Sounds good.
I think that's actually really interesting. I've had some people ask, like, why don't they use XPAC as a lining? And it is a little bit on the heavier side. It could be a lining, but I think that there's other linings that are just as water resistant that work better on the interior of a bag as opposed to the exterior. Definitely. But it's cool to know that you're more so on Team XPAC. I want to kind of talk more about XPAC, but I think we'll maybe leave that conversation for Hot Takes Part 2.
Oh, yeah, that would be awesome.
When we go into more hot takes and maybe lead with a little bit of XPAC stuff. And I think what I'm going to do, Bo, is I'm going to ask my community, and if you can maybe ask yours too, for anybody who's listening or just in general, like, let us know any other hot takes out there, right? Because I want some more ideas. What can Bo and I chat about? We're definitely open to sort of making this format as good as possible, and I want your hot takes. So any hot takes, let us know in the comments below. I think that might do it for today, Bo. Is there anything else on your end?
Also, let's work the algorithm a little bit. I've seen that on other YouTubers. Let's work the algorithm. If you listened completely through the end of this podcast, let us know by commenting Boklahoma below. Then we know you actually listened to the end.
You heard it there. You heard it here first, guys. Boklahoma. Put that in the comment below. I don't know how to spell it. You don't know how to spell it. It's okay.
I don't know either.
Just give it your best guess. But that should do us for today. Thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions about any of the bags, we'll link to everything in the comments below. In the description below. If you have any comments, do let us know. Bo, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you very much for having me. It was a lot of fun.
My man. Thanks, guys, for listening. My name's Aaron. This is Nomads Nation, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye.